If you care about the fact that some people are being assaulted and even killed because of our hyper-polarized politics that have nothing to do with the government we think we voted for, I hope you find this video worth your while. I know I shouldn't be making videos about other videos, and much less if they're about the Young Turks. Besides, there's more than enough people calling out the Young Turks, and there's almost an entire subgenre of anti-Young Turks videos out there. In particular, I remember Atheism is Unstoppable, who did some awesome videos on exposing a lot of the toxicity from the Young Turks. And I'll be featuring one of his old videos and how incredibly relevant it still is 5 years after his entire channel was deleted from YouTube. So if you clicked on this video because of the title, I'm going to respect your time and spare you the explanation of who the Young Turks are, especially its founder, Cenk Uygur, and his co-host, Ana Kasparian. I'm also assuming I don't have to explain who Tim Pool is, who they're viciously attacking in the video you're seeing playing right now. But as vicious as their attack is, it's quite funny to watch. Even without hearing what they're saying yet, their histrionics are hysterical. I'll play the actual audio shortly, but for now, just look at these people. Now, what isn't so funny is just how toxic political polarization has gotten thanks to rhetoric such as the one pushed by the Young Turks. And I know Tim Pool doesn't need me to defend them, but I still think it's worth making this video about another video and yet another video from 5 years ago. By the way, this current Young Turks video that's playing right now, it's from 2022, and I found it thanks to the Black Conservative Perspective channel, who I've recently discovered. And though I'm not conservative, nor am I black, I can still relate to the guy. His name is Greg Foreman, and he's the one in the bottom right corner commenting on the Young Turks video. He seems pretty down to earth, and he's someone I can actually listen to, as opposed to Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian, who I've always found to be insufferably smug and dangerously judgmental. Amazingly enough, despite all their deliberate misrepresentation of facts and exploitation of tragedies in the name of woke, progressive social justice, despite the fact that they're not really journalists and they just read and regurgitate the news like anyone else can, they still have an audience, which is a grim reminder of the ignorance and tribalism that causes some people to be more driven by hate than by a shared desire to be accurately informed and to come together and solve our problems. So when I saw the title of this video, Tim Pool's home attacked and shot after Cenk Uygur insane rant blaming him for Colorado mass shooting, I had to watch this. After all, I'm just as guilty of bias and political tribalism too, and I'm clearly a sucker for clickbait. Now here's the actual audio of what the Young Turks have been saying about Tim Pool and how they're desperately trying to tie him to the Colorado mass shooting at Club Q in November of this year.
But they're being extremely reckless, okay? I want to play this.
Consenting adults can do whatever the hell they please. They don't need your goddamn permission. Oh, do we need permission from grifters now to enjoy our adult lives? Is that what we need? I need permission from Beanie Boy Tim Pool to go to a drag show?
And by the way,
shut up and sit down, Tim. How about that? How about that? Always involved in everyone's personal life and personal business. Didn't say a peep when it came to Roy Moore fondling 13-year-old girls and molesting them. Not a peep, because it's all about political power. It's all about getting your guys elected into Congress. And don't give me any of that garbage about how, no, I'm not on the right. I'm not on the right.
Oh,
I just spew right-wing propaganda all day and all night. I'm not on the right. Shut up and sit down.
That. I'm not debating that. He's a monstrous right-winger. He's a terrible, terrible person. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, look, I'm jaywalking, I'm progressive. But, I think we should, all gay people are pedophiles and groomers, and we should all attack them and just do all these horrible things so we can goad our lunatic audience. And yes, Tim Pool, Matt Walsh, Tucker Carlson, you all have lunatics in your audience, and you weaponize them, and you know it. I mean, look at him. I'll finish the tweet to be fair. How do we prevent the violence and stop the grooming, he says. Oh, in other words, well, I didn't quite like the way he murdered all those people, but hey, I really like the fact that he attacked these people that I'm calling groomers based on nothing. I mean, he said it, Club Q had a grooming event. He said, it's not a goddamn grooming event, you monster. Okay, so what is a drag queen? A drag queen is someone who dresses in a way you don't like. Are you insane? Are you insane? Why do you care how they dress? Why do you care? It has nothing to do with kids.
You should go.
Maybe we don't like the way you goddamn dress with your stupid, dumb beanie, okay? So what is it? Oh, should we call you groomer, pedophile? And then say, oh, I know somebody should do something to stop Tim Pool. He's wearing a beanie. He's a monster. He probably molests little kids because of his stupid beanie. Okay, we don't do that. Because unlike you, we're not trying to get people killed. Unlike you, we're not monsters who are constantly attacking people who are gay and in the LGBTQ community. I'm sick of these right-wingers. Look at it. They're almost celebrating it. I mean, he nearly brought goddamn pom-poms to the shooting.
Listen, if you have problems.
Yeah, so you heard that, right? Again, definitely.
Now, there's no point in repeating everything the Black conservative perspective has already covered in his video, which I've linked down below. But what I'd like to show next is this 5-year-old video from Atheism is Unstoppable that I mentioned before. Because if you, like me, and the Black conservative perspective suspect that Cenk and Anna seem to be projecting the same behavior they're accusing Tim Pool of, this following video will help explain why they're so willing to accuse others of what they themselves might be guilty of.
A TYT fan killed 3 police officers. It happened during the aftermath of the Dallas shooting, where a cop-hating black racist assassinated several police officers. This story was not reported on. Oh, the event was, but not his association to TYT. The Young Turks ignored the story that the shooter in Baton Rouge, Gavin Long, had been a TYT fan for years. He had done reaction videos to TYT, where he mimics their talking points, approves of everything they're saying, and praises them for their anti-cop rhetoric. But first, a quick refresher on what happened to those cops a few months ago.
Another deadly day for local police, this time in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where 3 officers were shot dead Sunday morning. 3 others were wounded. 1 suspect, we're told, is dead, and there is an active manhunt for possibly 2 others.
So we've got dead cops. This guy set up an ambush, killed them in cold blood. Who nurtured his hatred for the police? Who stoked that flame? Part of it goes to Black Lives Matter and the general anti-white, anti-cop sentiment that is so prevalent today. But when I ask the question, who inspired Gavin Long to go kill people? It's not a rhetorical question. We know. Before they took down his YouTube channel, and in the immediate aftermath of his shooting, I went to his YouTube channel, called himself Cosmo. He had a channel called I Am Cosmo. And he had a couple videos on there from the Young Turks. He had this one right here. It was with Cenk Uygur, Jimmy Dore, and some random woman, and it was called Cop Knocks Woman's Teeth Out in Illegal Arrest. So it's a fuck cops video, right? Only 3 minutes long, but wait till you hear the rhetoric inside the video. And just imagine that you've got this mentally unstable guy listening and absorbing it. Young guy, just soaking in the hatred.
A police officer in Texas was jailed this week for knocking a woman's teeth out during an illegal arrest he made in late May. James Angelo Palermo is charged with aggravated assault by a public servant for the May 29th incident in which he allegedly slammed a pedestrian against a car. This is so good. He pulled somebody else over. And then when another woman was walking by the crosswalk, he's like, hey, what are you walking on the crosswalk for? What are you doing? You're obstructing my arrest with this other chick. Grabs her, asks for identification. She's like, what are you talking about? Swings her around, slams her on the ground, breaks 2 of her teeth, and gives her a concussion.
What do we think here? I mean, obviously this is, as Bush would say, speculation. But what's wrong with this guy? Is it like a power thing? Is it roid rage? Is it something like weirdly sexual?
I would guess the woman was not white who he did this to.
Oh.
Okay, so right off the bat, first comment is to accuse the man of being racist. Yeah, just throw it out there. I mean, what's the harm? Who's watching this video? I mean, Gavin Long is watching this video. A guy who months later will go out and kill police officers. But no worries. Jimmy did a little bit of research into this one. Turns out that this is the woman in question. And she ain't black. She's white. Sadly, I think it's important to say at this point that even if she were black, that would not be evidence that the white cop was racist. A concept that you regressives will never understand. So you race-baited, inflamed racial tensions, and stoked hatred towards white people and cops for no goddamn reason. Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't really matter because what he did is horribly wrong either way, and so he should be punished, and he is.
Right.
But that's the weirdest thing when you're around cops, right? You're like, oh, you want to be like...
Okay, so here comes Jimmy Dore on an anti-cop rant. Now just imagine that Cosmo, Gavin Long, is listening to this right now. Listen to what Jimmy's asking.
compliant, right? But at the same time, if you don't know they're going to slam your head into a car or something, like you don't want to be so compliant. Like, so when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you? Because I've been in.
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you? Because
when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? I wonder what Gavin Long took that as.
You got to take that within and you consider that. So I'm out here in these streets. Your brother Cosmo, salute to you. You remember, you luck up, you get up, and you don't ever give up.
Congratulations, you became a cop. You're an official piece of shit. Cops are fucking liars. They're criminals. They're brutal maniacs. That's why they're cops. Get that through your head. Those cops aren't out there to do good. They're not out there to protect the Constitution. They're not out there to protect anybody. They're out there to get their jollies inflicting harm on people brutally, because that's why they're cops. If they wanted to help people, they would help those people, but they don't want to help people. They get their rocks off by doing this shit.
Let's just go with the numbers. Let's go with the history. 100% of revolutions, of victims fighting their oppressors, from victims fighting their bullies, 100% have been successful through fighting back.
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you? Because
through bloodshed. 0 have been successful just over simply protesting. It has never worked and it never will. You gotta fight back. That's the only way a bully knows to quit. He doesn't know words.
So when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you? Because
he can't understand words, I promise you. He doesn't understand protests. If y'all want to keep protesting, do that. But for the serious ones, the real ones, the alpha ones, we know what it's gonna take. It's only fighting back.
So when do I fight them?
Or money. That's all they care about.
2 days after Gavin Long killed those officers, the Young Turks decided to cover up their association with this guy. What did they do? They filed a copyright claim against him for both videos that he had mirrored.
Since I didn't want to make my video too long, I edited down AIU's video that I just played. But if you want to watch his complete video, I posted that link below, which leads to my old YouTube channel. I was afraid to post it to my current YouTube channel, considering how much YouTube has deleted videos, mine included, not to mention taken down entire channels, as what happened with Atheism is Unstoppable more than once. And yet the Young Turks have managed to remain YouTube's darlings, despite the toxic rhetoric that arguably has inspired someone like Gavin Long to murder 3 police officers back in 2016. But somehow, some way, they've even had the blessing of YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, while so many other channels, namely conservative ones, have been deleted altogether. Now, I don't consider my channel to be conservative or liberal or even centrist. The mission of my channel, the ulterior motive, if you want to call it that, is to see social problems get solved, especially the ones that can be avoided in the first place. Solving problems like the abusively overpriced cost of healthcare, for starters. Also solving our education system's problems that leave so many young people absolutely ill-equipped to deal with earning a living once they graduate high school, if they even do. And of course, all the other needless political divide that keeps us from solving problems altogether, that continues to allow career politicians and unethical business owners to continue getting rich at the expense of everyone else. And then that, of course, invites misguided socialist policies that predictably lead to communist dictatorships like the one my parents escaped from in Cuba. And of course, I also want to call out a lot of the religious falsehoods that further confuse the hell out of people, like the Christianity that I managed to outgrow despite my family still being believers. At the very least, I'd like to help inform people about what is true and what is false, what are good ideas and which are the bad ones. And I hope this video helped inform you, the viewer, about something you might have not known before. If I got anything wrong in this video, please let me know in the comments below. But if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and check out the links below for my original art and merchandise. And thanks for watching.